Dirigé par Marc Gorski et Johnny Wells.
The moment of truth had arrived. The Tour de France was to begin, this time in Ireland, for the opening prologue time trial and the first two stages of the world's most prestigious cycling event.
Russie, Francky-Andreu, États-Unis d'Amérique.
On the damp, rainy streets of Dublin, the prologue was underway.
On the confidence, and then it just gets higher and higher. The Tour de France is very special to me. I feel like I'm at my element in the Tour de France. Stage 13, stage in the Tour de France, the Carpentras, was, you know, a day that I've been waiting for a long time. I've always known that that's something I wanted to do and something I've been striving to do, and I've trained hard over the years to get there. And it was a payoff day. And now, in retrospect, now that I've completed that stage and taken fifth there, I have the confidence to be there again. If you look beyond all the...
Email. I'm learning is the best way to do any of this. Yeah.
Finally, the year was winding down for many on the team. They sent a core group of 3 Americans to the Killington Stage Race for the climax of the American cycling season. George Hincapie wore the national champion Stars and Stripes and began the prologue with Tour stars Marty Jemison and Tyler Hamilton. Entire 5-day race series demonstrating without a doubt that even this scaled-down contingent was indeed a formidable unit. National champion George Hincapie rode his heart out, proving why he's becoming the man to beat on the...
And then doing well in the Tour de France was the most important goal for the team.
U.S. Postal could now look back with pride on what they had achieved during this memorable season. Stroke by stroke, important progress was made as the team continued its quest for victory at the top level of the cycling world.
Person everywhere. My family was very proud, and it made me very proud that I could do this for my country.
Jan Ullrich also wants to do something for his sport. Ullrich said yesterday he plans to donate his prize money from the Tour to develop better doping policies. He and his teammates from Telecom working very hard since the 35-mile mark at the head of the peloton. They're approaching the only climb of the day.
Once over the top of the Col de Mur, then they have just 22 kilometers. That's about 13 miles to race to the finish. The majority of that is swooping downhill to the finish in Carpentras. They seem to have themselves well organized now. These riders are beginning to sense they may have started the winning move now. They've got rid of everybody else who was a little bit of a passenger. A little bit surprised, Paul, that Roscioli missed this move. He seemed to be in the right position when it started to happen.
One of those riders that puts an awful lot of energy into a breakaway, and I think he might have put just a little bit too much into the success of the 12-man breakaway. And once the split happened, he really was in the wrong place. And if a group goes like that, then you just have to be right on the wheel at the time that it splits. And there is Roscioli, and he won't get too much help from the Rabobank rider here because he has a man in front. And I think looking here at the rest of the group, there's no organization at all. So I think really they've put up the white flag and it's a question of surrender, and now they're just going to have to wait for the main field to catch them.
Well, the main field, the Cofidis are leading the Arrowhead right now. They're pulling that bunch. Look at the length of that field now as you look right down the road. And it'd be most unpleasant at the rear of the field now as you try to hang on to the fluctuating speeds as riders sprint to grab the wheels in front, and then they slow down, then they sprint again, and that really does hurt the legs. The field looks to me to be going very, very quickly now, but whether they will pick up those 6 riders, it's touch and go. And somebody trying to cross the gap now, it's our old mate Roscioli, who has tried to leave these. His reaction might cause a reaction that could yet bring these riders back together again. Francois Simon is the rider in white, and Sergei Ivanov, and then Maury are the other 3 riders in our frame. And finally, at the back of the field here is the rider from the Rabobank team.
Roscioli realizing here he's missed the boat. He's tried to get across, but you know, he just doesn't have the energy, and he realizes how difficult it's going to be. One man on his own riding across to a group of 6 who the last time we saw them were all working perfectly together, and he's decided I'm not going to make it, so I best stay with the group that I'm with.
So Roscioli back in the pack, and the gap beginning to open now. They need to organize themselves a bit better than that. Certainly Dembaka isn't going to help them get back up to his teammate in that leading group. It's beginning to look good as we head out now towards the only climb of the day.
Higher climbs of the Alps off in the distance. They await the riders the next few days. For now, the 6-man group is still ahead of the main group.